So would you please welcome the leader of the Labour Party and leader of the opposition, Jeremy Corbyn.
Ben, thank you very much indeed for that introduction, and to Pink News for organising the awards tonight, and for all those that have supported Pink News. And I have to say, the broadcast we did for Pink News Live was apparently the first time there's been such a broadcast. And it seemed quite strange sitting in a cubicle office, asking people not to come in and asking people outside to be quiet as we were talking to apparently over 1 million people. It shows the power of social media and the power to reach out to so many people. Now in the 4th year of these awards, this has become a fixture, a true celebration of the LBGT community and the work they do. So I want to thank everyone for being here tonight, and also thank my many parliamentary colleagues who are here tonight, who have played an heroic role in Parliament, not just in the most recent legislation, but in all the other times, debate, questions, and to help frame a national debate, which means that we become a better, more inclusive society as a result of it. So I say thank you very much to all of them from all parties that are here tonight. I want to say a few words about the winner of tonight's special award, David Cameron. Okay, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right, it's okay. This is the kind, gentle form of politics. Politics is rightly very passionate and can be very partisan, and we speak from our heart, and our views should always be based on values and principles. And that's most certainly true of David Cameron. We have totally different views on what is best for this country, with the economy, inequality, and many, many other views. He also has radically different views of how I should dress, and these concerns about sartorial elegance are also shared by his family, who've been in touch with me about it as well, so it's not going to go away. But I want to say about the former Prime Minister, without ambiguity, his tenacity, his commitment and his persistence, and the support of a very large number of Labour MPs meant that equal marriage became law in this country as a result of his leadership and the support of people throughout the political spectrum in Parliament. I think we should be grateful to him and grateful to all of them. He should be proud of what he achieved, because without him leading the way, there are many in this room tonight who could not have had the same status as heterosexual couples. Indeed, the chief executive of Pink News and his partner Anthony have just got engaged, and I wish them well, and I wish Ben and Anthony a wonderful wedding and a wonderful life, and all the others who choose to avail themselves of this law and get married. So congratulations to you. I think at this point Ben steps forward and makes the rest of the speech. Equal marriage was a landmark decision, and a decision this whole country can be very proud of. But it's interesting for me to look at how this country has changed. I became an MP in 1983, when discrimination was rife, when abuse was rife, and it was almost enshrined in our laws. We also went through discussions, debates about the age of consent, Clause 28, the right to adoption, and laws that legalised discrimination. There were people who stood up to campaign in very difficult circumstances. We're told that by merely hiring a public room to have a debate that was deemed to be promotion of homosexuality, they would be breaking the law. That's what Section 28 was all about. And I was very proud that the mayor of my borough at that time, the late Bob Crossman, was an openly out gay mayor, and he campaigned very hard on that and so many other issues. So I think we should remember the abuse those people received at that time, that the rest of us later on would not be suffering that kind of discrimination. I'm proud of the legislation that was later put through by a Labour government, which helped to change so much of that. 30 years ago, if you'd asked me if I would be now in 2016, the leader of the Labour Party at an awards ceremony celebrating the LBGT community, and I'd be sharing a platform with representatives of the world's 3 great religions, I would have had my doubts about what they were saying. And I would like to take this opportunity of thanking Rabbi Rene, Alan Wilson, the Bishop of Buckingham, and Halima Goshi Hussain from the Inclusive Mosque for being here tonight and what they said and the importance of their message to so many people in faith communities who want to hear that message. Thank you very much for what you said tonight. And if again in 1983 somebody had said to me I would be at an event here at this Institute of Engineering, this wonderful building, and 3 of the 4 shortlisted candidates for the Public Sector Award would be the Metropolitan Police, the British Army, and GCHQ, I would have seriously questioned their rational thinking at that time. That is how much it has all completely changed. So the work that's been done in bringing equality to the workplace stands alongside the best employers in this country. So I say to those 3 and to Transport for London and others, thank you very much for setting an example that every other employer should follow. And so, whilst we have made enormous progress in this country, it's not so all around the world. So this year, on the 12th of June, that hatred, and it was hatred that unleashed itself at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, took the lives of 49 people. 53 were injured when a man fueled by bigotry opened fire on that club. Tonight we remember each and every one of them, along with every victim of homophobic and transgender violence and bigotry that has ever suffered it in any form, anywhere. Remember them for what they suffered simply because of what they are and what they want to be. Remembering and commemorating is not enough. We owe it to them to make a promise that in their name we will confront that hatred wherever it reveals itself, in schools, workplaces, or politics. Let that be a living legacy to those that died, our covenant to every victim of hate crime. At home, too, we must be vigilant. We must be wary of complacency, because for all the progress we've made in our recent past, there are voices who are happy to promote hatred with populist and bigoted language. Since the EU referendum in June, we've seen an astronomical rise in homophobic and transgender hate crimes. To deal with this, the police must have the resources to investigate, the Crown Prosecution Service must have the funds to prosecute, but to deal with the hate too many from the LBGT communities face, we need to start before the police investigation. We need to intervene before the court case. I firmly believe that the role of government is to challenge the environment where hate festers, and that must begin with education. Because the more we know, the less we fear. I believe that the state, your government, can and should intervene. That's why I discussed it with Pink News at Live. I made a promise in the recent leadership campaign for my party that the next Labour government would actively update the national curriculum to reflect LGBT historical figures and the fight for LGBT rights, so our young people can understand how these rights were achieved, and show evidence that positive action and promotion works. Today, towards the end of October, we're reaching the end of Black History Month, an event that has brought huge amounts of knowledge and understanding to Britain's multicultural communities. Go to any school today and ask the kids about the contribution of Rosa Parks to the fight for racial justice, the poetic writing of Alice Walker, or the legacy of Nelson Mandela, and they will have knowledge that many previous generations were not given. Imagine this then, embedded into the heart of the school curriculum, our children learning about the contribution of the brilliant mathematician Alan Turing, the man whose brilliance did so much to bring the Second World War to an end and actually help us to develop the computer. Imagine telling a class of children that one of the most brilliant astronauts of our age, Sally Ride, a woman who'd been catapulted into space at 1,000 miles an hour, also happened to be a lesbian. Or for the next generation of aspiring Olympiads, who is a better role model than Tom Daley? And for those children looking for a career in journalism, what about Evan Davis as an inspiration, even though he's given me a hard time on the media sometimes? Let's get a new generation to rejoice at the huge contribution LGBT people have made throughout history. And talking of Alan Turing, I want to be clear. If this government fails to bring forward the legislation in this Parliament to provide a pardon for every single person who was convicted of being gay, then a Labour government will offer those who seek it a full pardon. Those men committed no crime. Their records should be wiped clean and the stain on their characters erased, and an apology offered to them because of the way they and their families suffered. My parliamentary career started in 1983, just before the miners' strike began. The conflict brought people together, and for many, the active part played by the lesbian and gay community in raising funds and supporting those communities in struggle is part of the folklore of it. Those wonderful banners of lesbian and gays support the miners were there on Pride this year. The solidarity shown, the shared experiences gained, did so much to provide a greater understanding of what oppression meant, albeit from different perspectives. It undoubtedly offered a fair few moments of mirth, and in one case, the basis of a very successful movie, which I've really enjoyed seeing. In those first years in Parliament, I was one of a small number of MPs who tried to amend legislation to bring equality to our laws. Today, LGBT equality is non-negotiable. For you, for me, for my party. We are not going to go back to any place we were before. These awards tonight are a testament to just how far this country has come. But our work is not complete. We've not reached the final destination of full equality for all within the LGBT communities. And around the world, there is still the most grotesque discrimination and violence practiced against people who are gay. They have been murdered, they have been killed, they have suffered discrimination, and many have had to flee into exile as a result of it. So let this country, proud of the laws we've got, also play a very full part in every UN body, demanding those same justice and human rights for people all around the world that we demand for ourselves. We thank those that have gone before, we thank those for the huge work they've done, and thank everyone for the joy they brought to our community, the joy of people understanding each other, living with each other, and loving each other. Thank you very much, Pink News, for everything you do.